Hello, ladies and gentlemen. As always, I'm your host, Airsoft Al, and I kind of wanted to talk to you guys a moment about something I used a long time ago and realized I kind of had two of the smaller versions of it. If you remember from way back in the day of Walmart airsofting days, you remember those reactive targets, or at least the sticky targets, as I like to call them, or even some of the more dueling packs where you get two Springer 1911s from KWC and they'd come with a big old sticky target for you to quote-unquote compete with. Basically like a form of darts or even like competition shooting. And I had two of these smaller versions here, one from Umarex, the other one from Black Ops, which is still around, ironically enough. And yeah, I kind of want to talk about these. This one you can see, this is like the older version of it when they had like the zombie thing going on, and this thing does desperately need to be cleaned. I don't really know how to clean a reactive target. I don't know if you can just run water over it and it'd be good, but this is actually a KWC branded reactive target, or at least a sticky target. But this one here is an Umarex target, or if you know these specific targets from, like, say, UK Arms, or even, well, even Double Eagle has these things under their brand and under their name. These things here are actually pretty good at what they do. They don't withstand certain FPS. The Umarex one here, you can see the damage there from one of my gas guns, and ironically enough, it wasn't from the revolver that did that, it was actually from the 1911 that did that. But these targets, I think, in my opinion, do actually serve a pretty good purpose, besides this one, of course, that needs to be desperately cleaned. But let's go with this one for a second. Setting this one behind me. The small reactor targets do actually serve a pretty good purpose, and in my opinion, are pretty well. And apparently there is more damage. No, that's just a scuff. In my opinion, these actually serve a better purpose than a lot of people like to give them credit for. This is actually really good for if you want to save ammo and you don't want to use, say, like a BB catcher or something of that nature. You actually want to see the BBs being used. These can be used for a variety of things. One of which, of course, I did for a long time before it finally went, basically lost all of its sticky properties because of how much I actually used it. Is actually showing where the BBs land on camera. You can use a run cam with these things and actually see where they land on the actual stickiness itself and actually show a pretty nice grouping, depending on if the inertia from the next shot doesn't knock them down a pretty good bit. But it does show where each BB lands. And I think that's actually a really nice thing for if people want to see in reviews, like say you're doing reviews and you want to do grouping tests. This is actually a pretty good alternative, and you're not wasting BBs, you're not flying off in the distance, and you can actually recover them, depending on if you can actually are a decent shot. I haven't shot in a long time, and because my computer being kaput and having to save up for a new one, I can only hope I get one for my birthday. I can only hope. But moving on from there. Aside from that, these actually do serve another purpose of helping other airsofters be able to improve their shooting. Like I said, being able to save BBs is a wonderful thing, but aside from the classical round target, which actually is pretty nice for, say, if you want to go for classics or things like that, going back to the KWC target, a square would actually work fairly nicely, in my opinion, and it does have a built-in stand, essentially, to help it keep it balanced, but having a nice square target does work out in its favor, and even has a nice little hook right here for if you want to hang it up on the wall and you want to do like a basic target thing. Like I said, I need to clean this thing. Like, good God, that desperately needs to be cleaned. But either way, though, like I was saying, these things are pretty good in my opinion, and I want to hear what your thoughts are on the sticky targets down below, and whether or not you use them, or if they even have a place in Airsoft still, and if they're just a novelty item by this point in time. Like I said, I'd love to hear your opinion, and as always, ladies and gentlemen, I've been Airsoft Al, and I will see you guys in the next video. Till next time, later!